Let's move that. Hey guys, I just wanted to come in and do this little um, moment of reflection. Wow. Okay. I was just looking at the date. I did not realize that it is 9/11, and I think this is making it's going to make this little reflection even more significant, being on this day. But I was just talking with a couple of people on what's on my mind and what I'm getting ready to put out. And so I thought I would share, because it's something that not many of us talk about or think about or can imagine. But okay, 9/11. Okay, yeah, no moment of silence. We went through it as a nation, and devastating. Many of us lost family members, children lost parents, both parents. They became orphans. And that in itself is just tragic. Many children have never met their fathers because they were quote unquote 9/11 babies. Sad. But yeah, the babies. So you just gonna sit here and join me, huh? Anywho, I haven't shared yet the story of my mother. I'm getting there, guys. I really am. But you guys know it was something unexpected. It was very, tragic. How we lost her. And me being very young and her oldest child out of two, I had to be the decision maker. And something that I had done years before was ask her wishes. Now, I knew she did not keep a will. She was not going to keep one, because she knew that I and my brother were competent, and we were not. She raised us not to come together in a time that we need to. So I knew there was not going to be any disagreements or disputes. She knew that. Many families there are, especially when there are more than two children. It becomes a battle. So, what I want to say is, first, I encourage you, moms especially, because we take care of the children. They are pretty much our responsibility. Whether you're married or single, you're still having a lot of the responsibility of the children on yourselves. And I still see more often than none where the spouse is the sole breadwinner and the mother has been a stay-at-home mom, okay? And the father, in case of his demise, his untimely demise, the mother just sort of loses it, first of all, because look what she has to deal with, but then there's a financial aspect of it, okay? Many people don't think about that, and that's something you should always think about, always. Even if you don't work outside of your home, you need to be prepared. You need to have some money, lots of money, set aside, because it's going to take you at least 5 years to kind of recoup, because you're going to have to get back on your feet. If you've never worked outside your home, you need some sort of education so that you can become employable in today's society. You are just not going to make it working, fast food. It's just not going to happen, especially if you have children, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to have multiples children. So, and if you own a home, you have a mortgage you're going to have to maintain. Okay, your husband may have insurance, and that's something that I do encourage. At least one person carry a life insurance policy on them, because it's serious. If you can, have one on yourself, at both parents. That means you need to budget, and you don't need to be eating out. That's something that should be secondary. Your life insurance, because that's the future. That should be first. That should be an automatic draft out of your, out of each paycheck. That way you don't even have to think about it. If you're a single parent, you have children, you may have family members, but they may not be willing or able to take care of your children. What's going to happen to your children? You may have a case where you can have, you may have a legal age child that may end up with the responsibility of the younger ones. Can that legal age child sustain? You don't want to leave that burden on your child, because they still have to take care of the little ones. And yes, it's a financial responsibility. So you need to have, something set aside for them. And again, that goes back to planning. Especially if you're a single parent. You need to have something set aside. You need to have an insurance policy. And you need to have some plans in place, because you don't want the state to step in. That's just a whole another issue in itself. But coming into my point, having to go through that whole ordeal with my mother, it was pretty much nice and clean once we got past the bumps, and I actually found the policy. She was actually buried after or before I found it. I didn't need it. We had the money to funeralize without. Yes, it is expensive, but we did it. So the deal is, hold on. You need to make sure you have, you do have something, so that there's not a problem, when it comes that time. Because if it's something unexpected, that's the last thing you want to have to worry about is, trying to raise some money to funeralize somebody. Now, what I did was what is going to save you, taking this advice. When if you're financially able to go through your whole plan, and you have your last wishes legalized and everything, and you've picked out your place of burial. If you have plots, that's great. That is excellent. That means you're serious. Life or death. Not everybody's able to do that, okay? And I had to kind of think ahead. Going back to what I said, I asked my mother years before this happened. And also my husband years before, because we were living in a state where we had no family. It was just the three of us. So what would happen? What would I do? Or what should I do? And one of them, okay, well, I'm a veteran, so So I said, okay, yeah, you're a veteran. I'll see you, where you need to go. Family needs to do what they can to get here, okay? Pretty much my mother was the same thing, only she wasn't a veteran. So she took care of her part. Pretty much all our life she had life insurance policies. Actually, she had two. So when it came to make her arrangements, I asked, at first I was going to, I had to look at the site, and I really, I like the area. It's nice by a tree, but there was another spot. I think the spots next to it were taken. And So I thought, wow, it would be nice to have something just right here really close, just to buy another plot, just in case. So what I had to do was I asked them to dig double, okay? So instead of going, okay, I'm looking at the phone like, what is this pop-up message? Okay, I asked them to dig double. So, instead of 6, they actually dug 12. Because when they first open the ground, if you ask them to do that, that way if you have another unexpected passing, or just if you want somebody, say this is a mother and daughter thing, in that space, you can do that. But it has to be done at that time. They cannot reopen the ground after the fact. So if the spaces around it are already taken, you may end up in the same cemetery, but not in the same area. So, I just wanted to be covered. I told my kids, they know it, regardless of how I go, whether it's, full body or cremation. I mean, just whatever they desire. I don't have a preference. I don't want any stress over it. They know that anybody can go in that space. What I had to do, and most places probably will do this too, I had to, when I bought the headstone or the grave marker, I had to have it engraved with both names, because it is it's a large spot, and they needed to know that it's already there. So it's engraved in my name and her name. If anything changes to where one of the kids or something, they have to go in there, they will change the stone for me for free and just remark it. As far as opening the ground, that's pretty much set and done. There won't be any hardship. It's only $500 to reopen that ground and put somebody else in. So we are not going to struggle when it comes that time if we have another untimely passing. 500 is far less than thousands, because guys, if you haven't experienced making arrangements for anybody, it is expensive. It can be quite expensive, and I'm gonna tell you, a funeral home will drive up a cost like nobody's business, selling you out the stars and the moon. I mean, they do some fancy stuff these days. I'm not saying that it's not good, but there's a proper way to do things. There's some things I don't believe in. Show, it's a show. That's all it is, and we're not showy people. We're not doing anything glitz and glam for a show. That's not how I was raised. So, I mean, for the sake of, for the sake of the kids, and to take the stress off of them, I did make sure that, that I did that. And a lot, like I said, nobody will really tell you that you can do that, but you can. Excuse you. So, like I said, that's something that you have to request when they first, before they even open the ground the first time. When you first go and pick your space, you need to let them know you want double. And you can do that as many times as you want. If you want 2 spaces and you want them both double, you can do that. You just have to pay for it. So, yeah, anywho, just, wanted to get that out there, because I feel that may, it may help somebody in planning. It's a budgeting thing, and this is something that we never want to, have to address, but hey, 9/11 is real. It's still real. Um, yeah, and these babies with no parents, growing up with no parents, being orphaned, that's real. You know, a lot of them may have been claimed by long lost relatives, but a lot of them have grown up to be orphans and not really have anybody. So, for your children's sake, make plans for your future. That's pretty much where I'm going. Make your plans, even if it's not something formal. Have something written down where somebody knows this is what you wrote down, this is what you want. Put a date on it. Don't stress yourself out. Make it as easy as possible, but work around what you can. But don't leave everybody without a plan, because that's just the worst thing. Yeah, it's just the worst thing. The whole ordeal in itself is hard enough to deal with. So, to make it easy on everybody, come up with some sort of plan. Even if it's, like I say, something very simple as, as far as where you want to be funeralized. Something like that. You don't have to go into your whole, the whole procession and things like that, but have something laid out. That way you can have some sort of peace yourself, because I know that kind of it has to weigh on people. And had I not gone through it, previously with my mother, I still would have been thinking about that to this day, what would happen. It may have been just a song. I would say, okay, I like this song, make sure you use this song. Or, I like this color, make sure there's this color there. You want to have something a little bit, personal, not just something that somebody had to scramble and put together in a time of grief. So, like I said, my mother didn't have everything, but I knew her very well. She had the most important things in place, and that's what I really, really appreciated. Yes, there are other aspects that, going through the personal possessions in the house and, things like that, and then the aftermath. But the most important things I had, little children, babies, and I did not have anybody here, and I would have just been so lost and distraught if I had to kind of do every little thing by myself. So, yeah, I did appreciate that preparation. That little signature made a whole big difference. That little draft of a couple of dollars a month made a world of difference. So hopefully you guys enjoy your day, and if you did lose someone in 9/11, my prayers are still out, to you and everyone else. Stay blessed. Bye, guys.